Hello and welcome to hobby vlog number 203. Now I don't think this is going to be such a long vlog as last week, but I don't know yet because I've spent many hours working on one project, the high hay. It's just been a very time intensive project. So while I've done lots of hobbying, most of it hasn't actually been able to be filmed just because it's the same thing over and over again, applying air dry clay basically for hours and hours. But I've got a fair amount of other bits done, so yeah, hopefully this is going to be a nice varied vlog and I hope that you enjoy it. If you want to leave a comment below, please do. I do reply to every single one of them, so don't be shy. But if you don't want to, that's fine, and thank you very much for watching the vlog. The other thing to add in this intro is last week I opened up the Beard Clipper Challenge, Let's Finish This Year Strong, or something like that. Something like that, anyway. And I had loads of people express interest, which is really awesome. So I'll probably do a little bit of an update on that in the week, or maybe just a little short video with detailing who said they're going to get involved and what they say they're going to do. But if you haven't heard about this, basically what we're doing is send me an email, and the email is contact@oldschool.site. Let me know what you think you're going to do, or leave a comment below if you wish to as well, if you don't want to email me. But once you've finished, and the target date is the 31st of December, once we get to the end of our challenge period, let's see how much we've managed to get done, and that's basically it. So set yourself a challenge and see what you can do to achieve it. Anyway, I'll stop rambling now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again at the end. All right, back here with Rosie working on her princess outfit, and I've just got into a bag of clothes that we are going to be making use of, probably chopping up for rags, and I found some really good bright pink strips of ribbon. So cutting those out because I've actually sewed in, and what we've done not on camera is I've scalloped the, oh, can't really see that, I've scalloped the neckline for the front. And what we're going to do is we're going to use these to, we're going to glue these to the inside of the, Rosie, just 1 second. We're going to glue these to the inside of the cardboard, one on each side, and then, 1 second, and then that will then go all the way around and will be a hoop, and that will be what will control, that will hang that off of Rosie. So are you drawing numbers? Yeah. Very good. So Rosie has the drawing. I'll just zoom in on that so people can see what you're doing. Rosie has the drawing of the dress, and Rosie.
What is going to be on the picture?
I'm not sure. You said flowers.
Flowers.
Yeah. So Rosie has a picture of the dress and the crown, and is getting stuck in on it. So yeah. So what we're going to do now, I'm just going to attempt to secure this strip. Probably use PVA glue and hope that'll hold it. So probably use PVA glue to secure it down, and then when that's dried on one side, we'll then hang it on Rosie, mark how far down we're going to secure it, and then this can be what will support this and hold this onto Rosie over her shoulders. So yeah, a little bit of progress. Rosie's very excited, as you can tell, and we'll be back when we come to the next bit of this. Okay, so that's dried nice and securely, and I've just mixed up some milliput. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, as I said, and just fill in all around, fill in the hollow, and just add it as a little bit of extra support and structure around this bit of wood. And then when that's dried, yeah, that didn't take long. When that's dried, I will then come along, mask off the tree. Though I might paint the tree black as well, actually. Looking at the artwork, the tree is black. Need a bit of water. Need to keep your fingers wet when you're doing this, otherwise it just goes powdery. Anyway, yeah, so that's that. So that will now go off relatively quickly, and then I'll decide what painting I'm going to do. At the very least, it will just be painting the bottom black. At the most, I might paint the whole thing black, because looking at the artwork, pull that over, it's a very dark tree with little bits of green, so I might actually do a little bit more to it. Yeah, maybe I'll do a little bit more painting. But anyway, I need that to dry anyway now, to need that to go off. So I'll leave that to go off, and I'll bring you back when I get to the next step. So I've had a bit of a think about these fence sections. And what I think I'm going to do is actually use milliput to build up the base. So I'm going to mix up some milliput. What I'll do is I'm going to practice on this small one, and then if it works well, then I'll show you how I do it on those ones, and if it doesn't work well, then I'll show that it doesn't work well. But yeah, I just need to make it so that it's a little bit more stable, because it really isn't at the moment. You can see this one barely stands up, just about. And if you've got a totally flat table, if you've got any kind of terrain underneath that, they're just not going to be stable at all. So I'm just going to build out a bit of milliput on either side, maybe 5 mil each side. But I'll get that done, do a test, and then bring you back and show what it looks like either way, whether it works or not. I don't know how well it's going to work, so I've tried it on this little one. Just going to let that go off and see how happy I am with it. I might need to remove it. But what I have done, I mixed up too much milliput, as is traditional. So I'm just going to make a little mound. What I'm going to do now is push a hole in the middle of it, like that. Pry it up off the surface, and that then will be a base for the scarecrow, which is pretty cool. Right, I'll let that go off. Bring it back, and I might do something different for these two. I might do something different for that one as well, because I don't think it's going to work. But hey, it's an experiment. My alternative idea actually requires a little bit of surgery to the bottom of the foam, and I'm a bit annoyed at myself because this is actually not going to be very easy now that I've glued them to the base. And you know what I've gone and done? I've gone and glued them all to the base. But basically what I'm going to try and do, and I'm going to try and do it on camera, is I'm going to try and undercut all the way around. Let's see how well this is going to work. If it doesn't work, I'll just be annoyed. I'll pop this off, get some more foam, and do them again. But we're going to try and undercut. Hopefully it'll work. So do this quite slowly so that it doesn't pull too close to the surface, because as I say, I'm trying to dig in. It doesn't need to be too even, it doesn't need to be too deep, but it does need to be undercut. So yeah, so that's working okay actually. Not as good as it should be. If I'd done this right, I could have been much more careful and much more accurate. Doggies are barking outside, so once I've finished doing this, I have to go and let them in. They've had enough of running around outside, it seems. A little bit annoying, but definitely doable. There we are. So I'll have to do that on both sides. So when I've finished doing that, and when I've got the doggos in, I will bring you back and show you the next step. This is going to be a slightly more time-consuming process than the first idea, but I do think it's going to look better. There we are. So we've got that undercut. Right. Doggo time. I'll carve the other side round, and then I'll be back. We just had a lot of fun with Angela's help. She's back from her spa break and can barely remember what a break is. Just measuring up, making sure that we get these straps the right length. And I think we've done that. So I'm going to glue them in place. So same technique, just a load of PVA glue, and then set them down to the mark that I've made. Yeah, too much PVA, but that's fine, don't matter. Set them down to the mark that I've made, and then let them dry. And then not enough PVA on this side, always the way, isn't it? There we are. So that's the inside. So the next thing that we're going to need to do once that's dried, and we are going to have to wait for it to dry because we're going to want to sit this naturally on Rosie, is measure around the waist, and then measure how long the strips are going to need to be that will then support the dress section that will come off the bottom. So yeah, pretty pleased, enjoying this, something totally different. Such fun making different types of things, you know, creativity can be used in many ways, and yeah, Rosie's very excited. So I've got these tongue depressors, because while that has worked okay, it's still a bit wobbly and it's a bit rounded. I might have to sand the bottom off it. So yeah, it's worked, but it's not worked great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the old lollipop stick, not tongue depressors, lollipop stick trick, which I think is going to be a bit better. So what I'll do is I'll probably put the end with the end with the stump into the rounded corner, and then look to cut around it like that. And I've got my sharp scissors, which is what I'm going to use, my super strong scissors, and I'll glue these in place, and then paint and do it all together. So these super strong scissors are great because you can actually just about cut you can cut wood in a curve, as you can see. Brilliant scissors. So I can use super glue to glue these down onto that, and that will make them just that little bit more stable and less likely to fall over. So yeah, I think that'll work. I'll bring you back when I'm painting them, which will be probably maybe even tonight. I might start painting some of these. Okay, so that carving out went pretty well in the end. It's okay, it'll do. Do for an example. What I'm going to do now is start on this idea. So I have again got my pot of water, and I have again got my towel so I can stay clean. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of the air dry clay, roll it into tubes. I'm sure you've guessed by this point what I'm going to do. So roll it into tubes, which isn't proven very easy. Oh, there we are, finally. Come on, it's a bit slimy, it doesn't want to roll. Might even have too much there. I want quite thin tubes. I do have the tube maker up there, which I might have to resort to if this is going to be really difficult. But anyway, turn it into a tube like that. And I'm not going to film very much of this because this is going to take a long time. Like I said, this is going to be a slow process. And then I need the PVA glue, don't I? But yes, so what I'll then do is I will then start to build up a lattice work of the tubes going all the way up, and that will be the branches. And then I can put the green on the top, and that should look even better than the other one, which I'm pretty happy with still. And I'll be able to put the green coming down over the top, put some smaller branches and what have you. It's going to take some time. So I'm not going to film this because, as I say, it could take me a good hour or so just to do this. I'm going to go and watch a video, sit at my desk and work on this, and then I'll bring you back maybe halfway through, show what it looks looking like, and if I have any trouble or any issues, I will also highlight those. But yeah, let's get to it. Well, that was a real pain to prime, and I realised that I've forgotten to do a step that I normally do, which is just to stick these two tongue depressors, which means I've got something to hold on to and helps me with the painting process. So I should be able to stick 3 of these smaller ones per tongue depressor, and the bigger ones I might do 2 per. I need to find some more tongue depressors. I just had these lying around actually. So I do need to find some more, but that will help me when they're dried. I'll be able to go in and paint, and I'll have something to hold on to. It's a really good way of making a cheap painting handle that's very reusable. So you can just pop those off with the sharp knife, because you don't put too much super glue on, they just pop straight off the wood. So I'll find some more tongue depressors to put these onto, and then I need to glue that on actually. That goes on the front somehow, like there I think. So I need to get that glued on as well. So yeah, and then I'll bring you along for the painting process, which should be a lot of fun. I'm really quite looking forward to painting these. Anyway, there we are. Let's let this, wait for this to dry, wait for this to go off, and then we'll take them down to the painting bench. One thing you need to be very careful of is when you put super glue near a model, wait for it to go off, because it takes longer than you think to actually go off, and it gets reactivated a little bit by the liquid that is in paint, and then it goes completely solid and you can ruin your paintbrush in an instant. And ask me how I know, because I've done that more than once. So there we are. Right, we'll get these glued onto tongue depressors and I'll stop rattling. Well, that must have taken me a good part of an hour, or maybe more to do, and I've had enough of it for now. I'm going to go. I've got a few more things I want to do this evening before bedtime, so I'm going to stop working on that. I'm going to see how well it dries. I might just paint that side and just see whether I'm going to continue, because I've shown my other one and people have had good comments about it. and that was far quicker. So yeah, it's getting a bit boring kind of making tubes when it won't roll and what have you. Though I must admit I didn't use the tube maker, so maybe I could, roll maker even, so maybe I could use the roll maker, though it's for green stuff and not for air dry clay, so I wouldn't really want to destroy it. But I do have it here, so maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll try that as well, give it another go. But I'm going to leave this off now anyway, and get on with other things I've got to do. Well, I've primed this all black base, and I decided to go for the tree as well. And what I'm going to do now is going to make use of, not that one, flat brown, and I'm going to paint that on the tree, and then I'll start to add different colours and some greens on top, like you saw on the box art, and then I'll be able to glue the airship in place, and it'll be done. Now I'm in a bit of a rush for this because I'd really like to get this done tonight, so that I can publish this video tomorrow. I'm going to try and do Moonstone Mondays for a little bit, particularly while the Kickstarter's going on, to maybe get some people who haven't seen some of the miniatures or don't know the game to go and jump onto the Kickstarter and get involved. I hasten to add, I'm in no way supported by them. I didn't ask for anything and they didn't send me anything, and I won't. This is just doing it because I really like it and I love the miniatures. So don't think this is in any way sponsored, it really isn't. They did send me one in the last Kickstarter, which was obviously I was upfront about, but I haven't asked or received anything for this Kickstarter. I've obviously not been involved enough in the intervening months, but maybe I'll stick it at this time. Anyway, enough nattering, enough rambling. Let's get some brown paint on this, and then we'll start to build up some colours. Well, no matter how I try and film this, it doesn't come out very well down here, but I'm really happy with that. So basically what I've done is I did the flat brown, and then I went for German camouflage dark brown and wet blended that in, and then I wet blended some transparent green over the top, and I really wish I could show it off. I'm going to have to wait for the pictures to show it off properly, but I'm very, very pleased. So I'm going to let that dry, and then we'll glue the airship on, and then I'll get some pictures and you'll be able to actually see what it looks like. Oh, there we are, done. And the interesting thing is that it actually sat on the base on that twig without gluing it, but I have glued it obviously, but yeah, I was able to balance on there, which is pretty cool. So I am really happy with that. That really works well. If we just pull the box art in, if it will stay up, yep, just about, you can see what I was going for, and hopefully you can agree that I've actually managed to achieve it relatively well. So pretty happy with that, and what a fun build that was. Fun to paint, apart from the retreating paint problem, but that was caused by me forgetting to wash the sprues. So absolute top tip, any Moonstone miniature, get them a good scrub, because I can tell you that the Bumbletown farm, which I'm working on now, I gave a good scrub, really hot water, scrubbed everything really, really fully, and it's primed up perfectly with no retreating, and it will paint much quicker and easier. So yeah, top tip. But yeah, there we are. I hope you've enjoyed watching that. Hope that maybe has inspired you for basing some of these miniatures and going away and looking into Moonstone. It's a great game. Alright, these two dwarf ballistas, sorry, hard for me to say, have sat on my bench for way too long, and I really need to finish them, which is all a case of basing them. And I'm going to do it now. So what I'm going to do, I'll do one on camera and I'll get the rest off camera. But what I'm going to do is just use the base ready from Luke. Still sad about the fact that he no longer makes videos. Great loss. He was one of the ones who really inspired me to get started anyway. Yeah, but he still makes some fantastic material. That still goes, I think. Gonna need to check actually, because I need to buy some more at some point. Anyway, enough rattling about that. So what I always use a toothpick to move his glue around, because it is latex based. So if you didn't know that, and then you use it with a nice brush, you will be very sad, because your brush will no longer work. So I'm going to pick up a bit of the green, because what I always find is that the bigger stuff struggles to stick sometimes. So yeah, there we are. And then we'll do the back. And then when that's dried, when that's finished, probably later today, I'll come along and seal that with some watered down PVA, or I might use I have his finishing glue as well. So sorry that wasn't very well in shot, but there we are. That's how quick and easy that is. So I'll let that go off, and then I'll seal it a bit later. So I'll do the other 4 miniatures I've got here. I should have 5 possibly. Yes, there it is. 5 miniatures I've got here. Rosie was playing with these yesterday, and yeah, I think they're one missing. Anyway, so I'll get these done and show you what they look like when they're all completed and when they're sealed. This morning we did a little bit of a measuring for Rosie. Unfortunately she's not here, she's at school. Angela has also spent a lot of time today creating flowers which will be eventually stuck onto the front of the little the dress, and yeah, she's not able to do many of these videos unfortunately because we've got such a rush. We've got to get this done this week and needs to be finished by Friday. I'll try to have her in a bit later, particularly as we're starting to assemble it all. But anyways, we did some measuring, and I know that we need to have side strips need to be 35 centimeters, 350 millimeters, and I need a whole bunch of them. So what I've got here is actually exactly 350 millimeters. This piece of card you see there. So that's good, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slice these down. What I might do actually is just make them the same width, so do them 3 centimeters wide so they've got a little bit of what have you. And these are going to be the strips which, if we look at the picture, these are going to be the strips which will basically radiate out. They'll have a hoop at the top and a wider hoop at the bottom, and that'll be what we'll put the material onto for the dress. So I will cut these out. I will certainly need more than I'm going to get out of this sheet of cardboard, but I can get some more cardboard and get some more. So yeah, so I'll cut these out, and then when I've got it all and when we're about to assemble this dress portion, I'll bring you along. Now the way that we're going to do the hoops is probably using multiple strips of cardboard from cereal packets, because that will actually bend. This is not going to bend, is it? So well, once we know what that circumference is supposed to be for the hoop, then I will cut that, and I'll probably laminate 2 or 3, maybe even 4 together, just to make it a little bit more solid, but it should still bend nicely around a curve even when it's got several laminated together. Anyway, there we are. Let's get these cut and get a whole pile of these, and I'll bring you back for the next step when we get to it. These are now nicely stuck down onto the tongue depressors, and I'm going to start painting them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the chicken coop, and this contrast gore grunter fur works really well for like thatch like this, and it also is going to work well for the 2 chicken, the 2 nests. So I've given it a good shake. Got a little bit of water over here, so what I'm going to do, just using my larger brush, just come along and put that on. It's a really good base, and what I'll then do is come along and highlight it afterwards when it's dried with some with a brighter colour, with a more straw yellow, but it just gives that underneath, gives the underneath bit, underneath colour that you need. I'm not going to film myself painting everything, but I thought it would just be interesting to pick 1 or 2 of the miniatures, do a little bit more detail, and then the rest I'll just try to kind of inform you of what colour I decide to use. So I'm not using my goggles on this because I don't need to, because obviously this is a far easier paint job than I was doing the last time for the Goblin Airship. But yeah, contrast paints, I do use them. They have their place. Mostly I use Vallejo, which I really like. But for this, I think the contrast paints are going to give a really good start of a 10 almost, as an undercoat. And I like doing multiple layers. Even when I've done contrast, I very rarely just leave it as just contrast. And very often I will come along with more different types of paints to add a bit more interest and a bit more colour and make it look right. So anyway, I will get these all done with this and let it dry, and I'll bring it back for the next step when I get to it on these miniatures. Like I say, I'm not going to paint everything live. I'm not very good at it, and I struggle to keep things in shot. This is not proving to be very easy. I want to lift this up so we can see it better. So anyway, that's enough of that. I will bring you back for the next step very shortly. Well, the next thing that's going to be painted on this is going to be the wood, and I'm going to start with the base of I use this a lot, flat brown. But I've also done a little bit more on other models. So I've started painting up the Scarecrow. I used Vallejo's canvas for that, and I've also started painting up the fences. And for these, I've used Vallejo's old wood, which I do still have to hand here, old wood. So yeah, so I'm going to paint the wood here, and probably going to paint quite a few other bits and pieces that's wood. What I'm looking at, what I'm thinking is that this is more likely to be treated wood, whereas this, I'll just probably put a wash on and that'll be done really quickly. So I'm going to now get stuck into using up a lot of my flat brown, and I'll bring you back when I get to the next step. So we're back. So we're back here making the princess dress, aren't we, Rosie? And what we're looking at doing now is a band that's going to go around her waist at the top of the dress. And I've had to go to this Harley Benton cardboard, which is a bit annoying. I'm really struggling to find things that are long enough. So this is going to be a metre 30, and we're going to trim it down to the right size. And I think I need to go to about a metre 50. So what Rosie's going to do, you're going to help me, aren't you, love?
Dad?
You're going to help me. You're going to help me hold this.
Can I tell you something?
What do you want to tell me?
Why does it have a hole right here?
Because there used to be a staple there which held it together. You can see there's holes in each of the corners, and I took it out because we're going to recycle this and we don't want metal, and it was sharp, so that's why. So what we're going to do now is you're going to hold this in place very, very carefully, and I'm going to come along with my knife. These safety rulers are absolutely required purchasing, especially if you're going to be hobbying with someone as little as Rosie. So anyway, we're going to cut this out. It's a 5 centimetre wide strip that we're going to end up with, and as I say, this is going to be about a metre 30, and I'm going to need to go dig into my cardboard supply to find something that's going to get as long as a metre 50. Right, so what we need to do now is move you across. Oh, let me lift, don't lift that up because it's heavy. Good girl. We'll lift you across, and we're going to finish the cut. So we'll slide that over. Get that lined up nicely. There we are. And now if you can hold that again, we will. Oh no, you moved it. Careful. It slipped a bit. There we are. Right, and now we're gonna. Right, just press down. Don't press forwards. That's it. And then we're gonna keep slicing this out. There we are. Right. So that's not very easy to do. Trying to not get in the way of the shot. So if we do this. Oh, it's not quite cut at this end, and not quite cut there. Wait a second, Rosie, just a second, let me just run the blade down again. There we are, nearly. And the final thing that we need to do, let's just tidy up a bit. If you hold that, I'll move these out the way. Wow, indeed. Right, if you pop that back onto the surface, very good. What we're going to do is I need you again to help me with this, holding this down. Just hold that down nice and firmly, and then we're going to cut along and remove this tab here. And that,
way to here.
right, be careful of your fingers. Don't put your fingers on that side of the guard. Remember. Right, I'm going to come around that side. Keep holding it down. Good girl.
You have to do that too.
I will do, yes. But for now, we're just removing this one. You're doing very well. You're going to go and play with those toys in 1 second when we're finished doing this. As Mummy told you just now, this is a school project, and we might be crafty, But you will be involved in all your school projects, even if we help you. Like, mind your finger, mind your finger. There we are. So that's that. So we can get rid of this.
Very messy.
And now we can use the smaller safety ruler to do these. So if you can, yeah, so if you can hold that down. But look at what you're doing. Look at what you're doing.
Merry Christmas, my dear.
My precious.
My precious.
Right, hold that down nicely.
Merry
Cut that off.
Christmas, my precious.
You love that, don't you? That card. That was sent me by an SBG Santa. And last but not least, we're going to cut this off. Wow. So let's do this. Hold that again for me. There we are. Right, so.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. Right, so quiet for a second while I just say. So this is going to be going around your waist.
I hope that doesn't.
Like this. Okay, so we will need to have at least one more strip like that, and one I think bigger. That's what I think we need. But we won't do all of that on camera, Rosie. We won't do all of that on camera because, as you can hear, Rosie is being a little bit bored, aren't you? A little bit low attention span, which is not very cool, but it is understandable.
I don't want to do this.
So. Well, I don't want to do this either. So what shall we do? Are you gonna go? Are you not gonna have an outfit for school?
I like to have it out.
Well, there we are. That means you've got to help because you don't just get things given you. Anyway, that's enough parenting for one video. We're going to do the rest of the cutting off camera, and when we come to the assembly, we'll be back. So what do you say to the camera?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that was harder work than usual. She's gone downstairs in a huff, bless her. It's going to be fun when she's a teenager. Anyway, right, so what I'm going to do is just temporarily use some masking tape to hold this together. I've put some score marks into this cardboard strip to help me to bend it and have it keep it to straight. So we've got two 35 centimetres and two 30 centimetres. And what I'm going to do now is go down and see whether that actually fits or not. And then I'm going to have to look for some longer cardboard, which I think I have upstairs, but yeah, and then I have to work out how I'm going to actually attach that. So that's basically possibly the top or the middle of the dress section, and I have made, let's reach these over, all of these, and these will basically be attached like this to yeah, I'm struggling with this a little bit conceptually. So these will basically be strips which the dress will be built up from. Yeah. Right. We're going to get this done. Family dramas or no. Hopefully next time she's on camera, she'll be slightly more interested. Well, this is what we have so far. Just at a shot of all the strips. We've got this, which is 30 by 35. 30 being the front and back, 35 being the sides. We've got this, which is 24 by 24, which is going to be the waist. And we have the corset or the bodice or whatever. I've just scalloped the back as well as the front. And you can see here that we've got some lines which I'm going to carve out as well, which is going to be for the arms so that Rosie can move her arms a little bit. But we've changed our mind on how she is actually going to get into it. Initially we were thinking about having it so this drops over her head, and it can drop over her head. However, what we're now going to do actually is join everything together, and I'm going to disconnect these, which isn't going to be too hard fortunately because I use PVA. There we are. Boink. And I'm going to make use of some Velcro. We'll do that completely again. Going to make use of some Velcro. So what will happen is she'll step into it, this will get pulled up around her, and then the Velcro will go from one and we'll Velcro onto the other, and that's how we're going to do it. So what I'm about to do now, the first thing I'm going to do now, and apologies that Rosie's not here, she's in bed and we need to get this done, and as you saw from the previous clips, she's not actually really into this build, which is a bit odd because she's very excited about actually the outfit. But what I'm going to do now, first thing, is I'm going to stick these together permanently. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to get some paper, or some thinner card actually, and I'm going to glue that thinner card around here and also one on the inside. So I'm just going to do that with PVA, and I'm going to do the same thing for this one, and that will then dry and these will then be secured. And while that is happening, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some strips of cloth, and I'm going to glue those strips of cloth onto the front and the back of these, and then eventually they will have these attached to them, and I will attach which are the strips which will have the dress, and I will attach these to the that's how these will be attached. I'm just doing cloth so that, sorry, I'm a bit discombobulated still from that argument with Rosie. These will have cloth so it still articulates a bit, because that's important, so they'll have little bits of cloth, and then I will also use cloth to attach these strips to this waistband, and then when that's done I will then use cloth to attach the bottom to these strips, and then we can build it up. So my aim this evening is to get these two permanently secured, and then the cloth strips on the front and back permanently secured, and then in the morning I can then continue to assemble everything, and I'll probably do the Velcro, one of the last things, when we work out roughly how long it should be. Bit of a chattery tell what I'm going to do rather than show, but I think it's going to be easier to tell, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end of the evening when I've got it done. So these are now setting up. Next thing I'm going to do is start cutting up these old trousers of Angela's. So I'm going to take the cuffs off the bottom. This is where these super strong scissors really do come into their own. There we are. This is going to be a good material to glue along the bottom, so I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to film because it's going to be a bit fiddly, but I might just do one. I'll just do this, and then I'll show you the next step. So if we cut that out like this, super strong scissors are such a good thing to have. And what I'll do is I will then section that, so I'm going to cut down the seams. Be nice if they were slightly longer scissors, but never mind. So actually this is not an equidistant seam. How about that? Didn't realise that. So I'm going to keep cutting that. And what I will do is I will cut that seam, or the other seam, off as well, so there's no seams on it. That is going to get stuck to the inside of that with a bit hanging over, and then tomorrow I will glue that, a bit more than that, I'll glue that to the inside of the waist square, and that will mean that they will basically be able to they will be attached together but articulated. The next and final thing I'm going to do, which is going to take ages, is each of these strips I'm going to glue a little bit of cloth on the top and on the bottom, and that is what will be used to join between this strip and this strip, the waist and the hem. And that's the idea. So yeah, I feel a bit happier than I did. I feel like I've got a plan. Just run it past with Angela, and we've agreed this is a good idea. Gutted I'm not doing it with Rosie, but yeah, we can do as much as we can with her, but if she isn't interested, then there's just not much you can do, and we need to get this done. So hopefully she will join in tomorrow. Maybe she can help me with a bit of the gluing, and maybe I can get that filmed. I would really hope so, but we'll do what we can do. At the very least, you'll get to see her wearing it. Well, the painting up of the terrain, Bumbletown, is it something? The farm. It's gone from me. Anyway, it's going so well that I've decided to put out another miniature and try and get this painted up as well this week. So this is Boris the Bunny Summoner, easy for me to say. So this comes with a murder bunny, and this is what I've picked it. It comes with 3 murder bunnies, and so I've got 2 murder bunny cards and there's more. There's 3 murder bunny cards, I was going to say, goodness me. 3 murder bunnies and Boris. So if we have a look inside the baggie, It's a pretty simple model to assemble, as you can see. So you've got Boris and you've got 3 bunnies and you've got the bases here. So I am now going to boil the kettle. I'm going to scrub these very, very well with hot soapy water to remove the release agent, because oh my goodness, whatever release agent they use is the most powerful thing in the world. And even after scrubbing the farm, there are a couple of places where I didn't get it done, and it's retrieved, I mean not many, but just a couple, and the paint just will not stick. It takes ages to get it done. So I'm going to scrub these really, really well with hot soapy water, very hot soapy water, get them dried, and I'll bring you back when I'm looking at assembling. But it really is very, very simple. So yeah, that's not going to take me very long to assemble those. So yesterday evening I spent ages gluing on the strips and left it to dry overnight. And what I'm now going to do is I'm going to attach them. So I've just worked out that I've only got 3 aside, so I might actually need to do more. But at least I can make a start on this. So what's going to happen is I'm going to put some glue in the corner, like that. And then take that, I want the strip to be on the inside. It's actually a bit long, so I might need to trim that, so I'll do this side. And then we're going to glue that in place there and just clamp it to make sure it doesn't get knocked. And that's what I'm going to do. Going to put one in the middle. I can't put one this end just yet because, as you can see, I'm still clamping the corners a bit. But yeah, so I'm going to glue as many of these on as I can now. Put another one here, then 3 here and 3 here, and then let that dry. And then when they're dried, what I'll be able to do then is, here's the smaller one, and that then will glue on there, in the middle, and what have you, and then the 2 will be connected. So yeah, I'm going to get on with that. The other thing that we've done is I've put the flap on the bottom of the bodice, and that will eventually also be glued onto the smaller waist. Well, sorry, yeah, the waist one. So yeah, let's get on with this. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright, so I've quickly snipped these 2 off the sprue, and you can see that this is going to go together super easy. That just gets glued on back there. And then what I'm going to do is snip the rabbits off and very easily, carefully just glue them on into these slot bases. And that's that. So I won't film it because it's just super simple, as I thought it would be. But yeah, so I'm going to get those glued in, and then later on I'll be able to prime them. Of course, as I've said several times, and I'll say it many more times, don't prime straight after you've glued, because super glue, even though it might feel set to your fingers, if you put some liquid near it, it will ruin your paintbrush, so just be careful of that. So anyway, let's get these glued on, primed, and then I can go and start painting them. I'm quite excited about that. Right, we're all here. Angela's just out of shot. She's the clothes horse. Rosie fits in it. Go on then, so it fits, which is good. So the thing that we need to do now, which is going to be a little bit difficult, and all 3 of us are going to work on it. So put your hands in again, Roo. So we have the front and the back.
Stay still. No, arms in.
Arms in, Rosie, else you'll break it. Good girl. So we're going to put the front and the back. And what I need you to do, Rosie, if you hold it on the sides, because we're going to put glue here and we're going to put glue here. So here's the glue. Can you take this glue and put it all the way along the inside? Like that. Okay, spread it all the way along. And if you need some more, you can have some more.
Yeah, take some more. And there's a big clump here.
Here, just spread it out.
Nope.
All the way along. All the way along.
All the way to the edge.
All the way to the edge. A little bit more. No, just on this back bit. Get a bit more glue.
There's a big clump here. So.
Right, yeah. Like this.
Yeah.
Really thick.
On it.
Really thick. Do you see how I did that? You can do the next one. Right, so now, what we're going to try and do, I need you to hold this, and I need you to hold it really, really steady for me, okay? When I have it in a place, I need you not to move. Right, can you hold that side a bit lower down? A bit lower down right now. Will you put your thumb in? And I'll put my thumb in. This is very difficult. I'm going to get my clamp in. 1, 2. Okay, so that should hold it. Ooh. Need it to be a bit low on this side. There we are.
This is going to be so exciting.
It's awesome, isn't it? There we are. Right, so now we do the other side. Don't disappear, Roo. Don't disappear, Roo. We now need you to put the glue along here.
I thought you were going to do it all now.
No. Right, we need you to put the glue along here.
Look,
so,
watch what Daddy's showing you.
right, so you take that glue and you spread it all the way along the inside of there.
Quite thick.
Quite thick, like slap it on.
Put quite a lot on.
That's it, good girl.
Right in the corners as well. And turn the brush
Try and
around.
get this in shot. That's it, slap it on all the way. Get a little bit more glue if you need to off the table, off the plate. Very good girl.
Put it in the corners.
Right into the corners. It needs to cover the whole of that width because this is what's going to hold your bodice on. Yeah, let me put a little bit more glue on that. And what we're going to do, we're going to go blip, 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 blip. You see how much? Do you see how much? Really slap it on. There we are, let's get that. It's the only way to do it because it soaks right into the material and that means that it really sticks. Right, well done. Right, I need you to help me again, Roo. Don't disappear yet, same job. I'm going to get this down, get this into place. And then when I have it in place, if you can move your hand to here and use your thumb. Are you...
I have to wait all day.
Right, I need your help, Rosie.
Quick, quick.
Rosie, come back here. Quick, quick.
Quick, quick.
Quick, quick. I need you to hold that and don't move it. Good girl, there we are. Well done, thank you.
Move it.
Oh, it's okay, we can manage it. One clap. Oh,
No.
pushed it up, didn't I? Right, watch what you're doing. Rosie,
Stop,
less squealing and laughing, more holding what I've asked you to hold so it doesn't move. There we are, that's perfect.
Trying to
There we are. Right.
wait all day.
Get the wrinkled.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. This is fiddly.
I have to wait all day.
I'll put some more clamps on it, don't worry.
Something this machine showed you.
I know. Right, okay, so say bye-bye to the camera, Roo.
Bye.
Right, this evening I'm going to stick some more Red Dwarf on, of Red Dwarf Series 2, and I'm going to get a load more of the of the work done on these hedge sections. So yeah, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to watch Red Dwarf and slap air dry clay all over this stuff. So yeah, I probably won't film any of it because you've seen how I'm doing it, but I aim to get all of the non-gate ones done this evening. Yesterday evening I spent 4 Red Dwarf episodes making these 5, putting the clay on these 5, and it's the morning after and as you can see it's still not dry. It's rained all night. We're coming into the time of the year when it's just going to get slower and slower for things to dry. So yeah, I'm going to leave those to dry now and then I'll paint them brown, black and then brown. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with my other experimental one, this one here, which I started on. I might try with the roller and see if I can get them smaller and finish off the other side and just do it as an example, but I'm not sure. It will depend on how much time I feel like I have, and I don't feel like I've got very much time on this now. So while they're drying, the next thing I'm going to need to do is work on the doors. So here is the door that I've made for the small gate, and what I need to do is do the carving on it and put the bar on it and what have you, so that I can then glue that in place, and then I'll have 3 more of these to do, including inside when I've done that. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to gather my thoughts on that, work out how I'm going to do it, and I'll bring you along when I get to it. So we are about to start on, or Andrew is, I say Andrew's about to start on the making it pretty. I've been Mr. Structure and Andrew is Little Miss Art. So we have this shiny paper, and what you're about to do is cut around this shape and then glue it on, isn't it? That's the plan. Yeah, just going to cut down there and then glue it on. Yeah, and that will be the colour of the bodice. And then once that's all dried and what have you, then you're going to work on the actual skirt part, aren't you? But we'll pick that up. We'll pick a video of that up later. So yeah, so it's going to be a bit of cutting and a bit of gluing, a bit of waiting, both in terms of weight and in terms of time. And yeah, I'll come back when that's glued and we can have a look at it. I just had a little bit of fun at the end of my lunch break doing the first of these gates. Just thought I'd give it a try. It's worked out really well. So what I've been able to do is carve the bars out and then score in all of the wooden and the bricks and I have done it on both sides. And then just using some card, I've done the beam across and then the hinges. So what I'm going to need to do is repeat that for this one, and I'll do it in roughly the same way, though slightly smaller maybe. And then the single one, I might do it as a single gate, I'm not sure. But I'll do it with the same rough style with the so that you've got that kind of like a little bit of a barred kind of thing going on at the top, and then the gates underneath. I will be painting these. I'll probably just use wood stain on the door and then paint the metal parts, including these, black, and then put some silver over the top, because that's a really good way of doing the metal, and then paint the rest of it in grey or in red to be bricks. But once I've got these built, I will bring you along for the painting journey. But yeah, pretty happy with how that's come out. I think it looks really nice. I think it's going to look really well when it's embedded in and everything is painted. Right then, so what we've done is, well, Angela's done, with a very tiny amount of help, but mainly just like standing and watching. We've got the bodice with all nice shiny stuff on. And what you're now doing is attaching tissue paper around the dress. Now, we did put this on Rosie this morning for school, and it's about mid-shin, isn't it? So it's
quite low.
It's a bit longer than we meant, but that's probably because of just how we've assembled it. But it should be all right. I think it looks great. So what you're going to do now is just glue that on.
Glue that on.
And I've brought. We've got lots and lots of clamps.
Leave the bottom bit.
A little bit loose. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we're going to glue this tissue paper around, and then if I can just slip past you, darling. Sorry, this isn't very well planned. This morning, Angela has been cutting strips of colour. These are the colours that Rosie chose, and these are then going to be attached down the outside of this area, yeah? Cool, so it's coming on. It needs to be done today. It needs to be taken to the school tomorrow. So yeah, lots and lots of clamps are going to be used, and some superb, excellent cinematography going on right now. So yeah, we're actually going to get to see some. Should I hold that for you? Oh, there we are. Right, we're going to actually get to see somehow being done, not just talking about it, but actually doing it. Angela is learning the love for clamps. You can never have too many clamps. There we are. So we're getting some glue. There's a fire in the way, which is making this a bit difficult. There we are. Get a load of glue applied, and then it'll get clamped in. It's going to be awesome. It's been a whole family event. I'm really glad that Rosie finally actually did something for it. It's nice making things. There we are, get that done. Probably, I brought a ton more clamps, and I've got more if you need them as well. They're the easier ones as well, they're not quite as strong. There we are, clamp and clamp and clamp. Cool. Right, we'll come back when all of this is done and we're starting to glue these strips of colour on, yeah? So we're on the phone camera, hopefully this works. Look at that. I mean, what 4.5, nearly 5-year-old wouldn't want that? That's excellent.
Probably ours.
Probably ours, yeah. I don't like it. But that is looking absolutely wonderful. I need to make her crown. I'll have to do that today. It won't take long. It won't take long. Yeah, that is looking absolutely wonderful. So there we are. Staples, glue, all sorts of affixing techniques being used. Yeah, right. Brilliant work. So what we're about to do now, Angela has made this tiara for Rosie, and we're going to put some flowers in, aren't we, love? Yeah. So I've got the cool hot glue gun going, and we're going to stick a few flowers onto this, and I'm going to be doing it. So I will come back when we've done. You looking forward to it, Roo?
Quick! Get Mummy!
Oh, we can do it now ourselves. I know. There's glue coming out. Oh no. We better get to it. Right, let's go to. So we have done the tiara and we are now in the process of sticking flowers onto the actual dress. So I better stop filming because I'm in control of the hot glue gun. But yeah, let's get to it.
Yay!
So we have lots and lots and lots of flowers on it. Do you want to quickly rotate it, love, so we can see? So we've hot glued all of those flowers on. Do you like it, Roo?
Yeah!
Yes. So the hot glue gun is going again, and the reason for that is I've cut some of these strips, and what we're going to do is we're going to hot glue 2 strips on each side over by the neck, and then when Rosie wears it, that'll be just tied up, and it just makes it easier. Okay, love, go for it. It will just make it easier to actually put on and off, and much less harassment than what I had before. So we're going to get the hot glue gun running again, and the next time Rosie will be wearing this. I'm excited. I'm very excited about this. I think we've done, yeah, and Mummy's done an absolutely fantastic job on the skirt and on the flowers, and just brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Well done. We have a very excited Rosie, and we have a very stressed Angela.
I'd like to wear my hair.
You will do after it's on. So here is the dress. You need to duck underneath. Arms in and down by your side. Down by your side. That's it. Perfect. Good girl. Here she comes. Right, so you might need my help here. Do you want me to hold that? Okay. Oh, she's got it. That is absolutely amazing. And we can go and show Bakir and Halil because they'll be very happy to see it. There we are. So that's worked well, having those ties. That's much better than it was. You can't wear it all day. Right, I'll get Mummy to put the put this on. Hold your pigtail. Good girl. Out the way. Look at this. That is so awesome. Wait a second, Mummy's got to look at things. Is that okay? Right, do you want to put the... And let's have a look at that princess. Wow. Give us a twirl. Wow, that is amazing. Very cool. Well done, Mummy. Right, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I've just finished painting up all of this from Bumbletown Farm, and I got so carried away I forgot to actually record while I was painting. And literally just as I put the model down on here to take the video, I broke the cockle off, so I'll have to glue that back on. But it's largely just Vallejo paints, standard paints, and I've just done some Citadel washes. I'm pretty happy with how it's looking, and I'm remembering why I decided against painting it before, because I actually find it quite tedious painting this stuff. I quite like painting miniatures, but painting little kind of fiddly bits of terrain, it doesn't really fill me with joy. But seeing it done does fill me with joy. So I will go on. I'll take these off of the tongue depressors. I've got a little bit basing more to do on your scarecrow, and I might end up basing these a little bit as well, just to sit them into some terrain. So I probably will end up basing these a little bit onto some card or something. But anyway, pretty happy with that. It's taken me a few evenings, but there we are, we're done. Well, I've got my gates painted up, and I've just test fitted, and that works well. So I've stuck some glue and done the small one. So what I've now got to remember is which one goes on which. I think this is the big one. And they all fit in one place. So I just painted these with my normal hobby. No, that goes there. I painted these with my normal hobby paints, my normal miniature paints, and I think they look great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them in place, which shouldn't take too much time. I'm just going to use PVA. There we are, like that. It's just going to glue them in place, and then once they're glued in place and secure, I will stick them down to their bases, and then I will then work on doing the same thing as I've done for the others with the air dry clay. Now I have painted on all of the other bases that I did the other day, so they're now ready for flocking. So I'll also bring you along, show you what that looks like when they're all finished. But yeah, so what I've got, let me just show you how I'm doing this. What I've got my glue on a plate here, and I'll do this one because it's fitted in more nicely. I might need to just get a bit of a knife in there and dig a little channel for that one. And then I'm just running this PVA glue along the edge, just as a kind of, just to grip it, because I will be putting air dry clay, a thin layer of air dry clay inside these tunnels, and sculpting on some like branches and what have you. So that's basically how I'm doing it. So yeah, pretty pleased, cracking on. I feel like I might actually even have a chance of getting this done on time, which would be nice. But I'm also just very pleased to have done it. I think it's a really cool feature of the Shire. And I love the idea of the hobbits disappearing through one of these gates when they go on their adventure. So that one's done, that one's done. I just need to dig a little channel up here because it's, as you can see, it's protruding a little bit out the bottom, which isn't really what I want. So yeah, I just need to do a little bit of surgery on that, and then I'll do exactly the same gluing in on that one and leave it to dry overnight. Alright, time to base the awesome scarecrow. So I'm going to make use of a base that I don't use very often, which is the Rugged Field base ready. And I'm going to do it in the way that I always do. So get the basing glue, and then use a toothpick to spread it around. So we'll put some basing glue on. Yeah, I thought so. It's blocked. Right, let me just get that sorted out. Right, so now I've unblocked that, I can get my glue onto the base, like so. Oh, put too much. That was silly. Right, just dump it in, otherwise it'll just keep falling. Right, there we are. So I'm going to need to tidy that up because, as I've said a few times, this is latex based and is super sticky, and it will just grab everything. So there we are, tidied that up. Right, so that's the base done. I'll let that dry and just clean the edges where it kind of seeped off a bit. There we are. So I'll let that dry, and then I'll seal it with some watered down PVA, and I'll probably lighten up a little bit with a bit of with some grass or something, because it's a bit dark at the moment. It's really not showing up very well. I've got very difficult lighting going on in here at the moment with the sun streaming in. But yeah, a bit dark at the moment, so I'll probably need to lighten that up. I'll bring it on when I get to that. Yeah, I've folded. It's time for a new project. I'm looking around at all the current existing projects ongoing, and yeah, I'm going to start a new one. So these are 2 boxes of the mounted Outlaw faction from Gunfighter's Ball, but I'll use these. I'll probably use these in What a Cowboy at the end of the day. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is going to open these up, have a look at the models. I'm going to get them washed up and dry and primed and painted, and I'll bring you along and show you what they look like. So yeah, I have another couple of boxes from Gunfighter's Ball of these, so not the mounted Outlaw faction, which is what both of these are, the same faction, mounted Outlaw, as you can see. I also have the mounted Cowboy and the Vaquero, and I actually have the dismounts that match these. So I've got just the foot versions, which is why I've got 2 sets of Outlaws, etc. But this is going to be me doing the Outlaws. So yeah, get them opened up, and we'll have a look and see what these models look like. So I've pulled them out of the box and had a look, and I've also gone and got my painted ones. As I said, I've got them on foot and matched them up so I know who is who. So John Wesley Harding, Dumal Amat, Bobby Taylor, Sam Starr, Jim Taylor, and Old Man Taylor. So I'm going to try to paint them so that it's obvious again who they are. I'm going to try and like match the colours if possible, which is going to be a bit awkward, but but yeah, I'm going to try and do it. And then for my other mounted Outlaw faction, because obviously I really should only have one because they're actually named, I'm going to do some conversions. So I might actually leave that out for now and do that another time. I'll probably just focus on these 6. So yeah, so there is some cleaning up of the sprues to do. I'm going to do them in order, and then when I've cleaned them up, I'm going to wash them, and then I'm going to glue them to the horses, and probably write on the bottom of the horses, or have some way on the bottom of the horses, so that I can recognise which miniature is which, so I don't have to do that awkward process I just did of, well, trying to work it out. So yeah, gonna get to cleaning these up now. One of the worst examples of what needs to be done is if we look at Old Man Taylor. You can see that his rifle is bent, but it's also attached at his foot. So those are the sort of things I need to do, the sort of tidyings ups I need to do to get these ready for washing and priming. So yeah, let's get to it. Well, next time you see these, they'll be glued and ready for priming. So I thought I should just make clear what I do when I'm actually cleaning up my miniature. So this is very hot water. I boiled the kettle and added a little bit of cold water to it. A lot of dish soap or washing up liquid, depending on which side of the Atlantic you're from, and an old toothbrush which has gone out of service for my mouth. And I give them a very good scrub, as you can see. Get a really good lather up and try to get the whole of the model. Hot water is a must. And while you might be able to get away without doing this with these metal models, I've been doing some Moonstone stuff recently, which is resin, and goodness me, the mold release agent they use on that is like kryptonite to paint. And yeah, if I scrubbed away and I still missed a little couple of sections, and getting paint on those sections where I didn't quite get the brush scrubbed in, so maybe underneath the chin here, you want to really get in there and get it scrubbed, because yeah, particularly if you've got resin miniatures, you'll find that your paint just falls off, and it's the most frustrating thing in the world. But anyway, that's what it is. I'll go and rinse that now in hot water. As you can see, I've nearly finished. I've just got one more horse to do after this one. No, 2 more horses to do after this one, and then I'll be able to glue those on, finish tidying the horses up, prime them, and then I will be back with the next clip. The other day and evening, I finished off doing all of these hedge sections. As you can see, they're looking really good. I'm really pleased with them. So and that means that they're ready now for the final basing section there. However, I still need to do all of the air dry clay work on the gate sections. So that's what I'm going to do this evening. The gates are glued in, they're stuck down to their bases. So what I'm going to do this evening is put some more Red Dwarf on. I've got 2 more episodes of that series. See if I can get these 3 done in those 2 episodes, but I don't know whether I'll be able to or not. And then let them dry, and then I'll be able to come along and do the rest of the painting and flock application, and then yeah, we're rocking and rolling. So yeah, pretty pleased. I do have one thing that I'm going to need to do on several of these, which I've not done yet because I don't know how thick I didn't know how thick my clay was going to be. But if you have a look particularly at this one, you can see that if I butt it up against that, there's a big gap, which I don't really want. So what I'm going to try to do is trim down the excess off here and off here, and just try to make it a bit more, make them a bit more flush. We'll see how well that goes. This one will be a particular problem, and I will have to do a large amount to it, as you can see. So anyway, I'll get on with that this evening, and yeah, it's taken ages this. It's taken hours and hours to do the processes for making these sections. So yeah, I'm sure that'd have been a quicker way, but at least I'm not doing it like this, which would have taken days and days and days. And as you can see, I've still left this one untouched, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's get the air dry clay out and start putting it onto these. Well, that was intense. I did both episodes of the Red Dwarf and then finished off a sogcast. If you don't know what that is, it's about the Secret War and the build I'm doing, which is the OV10 at the moment, and all the other ones are in memory of that, so I'm really into that. Finished that off and started another video, and I'm 25 minutes into that, and it's taken that long to do these. They really do take a long time. I've gone through 3 packets of the Das clay so yeah, it's pretty intensive, but it's done, and that's what matters. So yeah, let that dry, come in and paint it, and then get the flock on it, and then I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll do the last bit, which is going to be working out the actual sides of the bases once I've trimmed any overlap, which I have. There's going to be some gap obviously at the where they join. You can't avoid that, but I just don't want it to look too rubbish. Well, it is air dry clay after all. Next morning I just had the bright idea of sticking these out on the shelf on the windowsill outside my window. Hopefully they'll dry a little bit quicker. And what a beautiful view. I really love this view. Anyway, I've had another delivery, and that is these dapple or dapple, or however you pronounce it, station platforms. So I've got tons and tons of these, the classic old platforms. I really didn't want to use those for this because it's a little kind of like a village halt rather than a station. These are more mainline. And so I've ordered a couple of packs of these to see how good they are, see what they're like. I might end up using them on the bigger layout as well, but they're definitely going to be good for here. So yeah, we're going to put these together. I've got a couple there, and then this is just the leftovers of the booking hall, which I probably need to tidy away. So yeah, so we'll have a look and see how well they go together, and then we can start to put this all together. I need to get Rosie involved in this because she needs to decide between this building and this one, as I've said. I don't actually mind which one she chooses. I've enjoyed putting this together. If she decides that she would rather have that one, then this will not go to waste because I'm going to put it onto my layout. So yeah, so we'll do that as well sometime very soon, I think. Alright, so there's the scarecrow, you can just about see it. And what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to put some, this might be too small of a brush actually, oh, that'd be okay. I'm going to put some static grass, but just scatter it on. I'm not going to put it on everywhere. So I'm just going to drop some of this PVA, watered down PVA glue onto the base, and then scatter, as I say, drop some static grass on, which I've got here, and I think that will then give the impression of being in a hayfield and will look quite good. So just scatter the static grass on, knock it off, and there we are. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think that is going to be done for now, apart from painting the rim. And yeah, if I can get that, zoom it in a bit more. Get that focused. There we are, so you can see what that looks like. Pretty happy with that. I've also decided that I'm not going to base the rest of the stuff, and I did manage to get the cockerel glue back on. So I think that's going to be a wrap for that. Pretty pleased, got that done in a week. And I'm going to do Boris next week and potentially try and keep this going. Actually, I'm really enjoying it, having a little challenge, one a day, one a week, or one set a week is a really good challenge to keep me motivated. So yeah, I'm going to keep going. Anyway, there we are. We have based up the spooky scarecrow, which is also going to go into the Paint All the Minis challenge for this month, which I've not managed to actually enter one of those for ages, so I'm pleased about that. And finished up all of the Bumbletown farm terrain. So there we are. Well, what can I say? It's turned out that I did a lot more than I expected. Quite a long vlog, and if you've made it this far, wow, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Let me know what you think in the comments below, but if you don't want to comment, that's fine. I just appreciate you watching the video, but I do reply to all my comments, so if you do have something to say, then do reach out. And as I said in the intro, don't forget to get involved with the Beard Clippers Let's Finish This Year Strong challenge. We'd love to have you involved. The more the merrier. Let's see if we can get loads and loads of people getting loads of stuff done before the end of the year. And thank you again to my viewers who suggested this, because it wasn't my idea. I just want to make that very, very clear. It wasn't my idea. My brain is so bad that now I'm in front of the camera, I've forgotten the name of the person who did suggest it, but I will put it here because I want to give him a particular shout out, but it's just gone right out of my head. You know what happens when that red light goes on. Anyway, I'll wrap up by saying, in all of my vlogs now, I'm only doing this in the vlog because a lot of my videos, hopefully, I'm really hoping that this war ends soon, so it'll become a bit stale. But I'm going to do it in these time-critical videos. To anyone, if you've impacted by the horrific war in Ukraine, then my thoughts do go out to you and anyone you know who may be impacted by that. It's just horrific that it's still going on. And also the Israeli situation, I've got friends over there who are directly impacted. It's horrific. So to everyone, then yeah, just can't believe it. And to everyone, please do stay healthy, stay safe and stay well.